such a magical atmosphere right here for the premiere of A Wrinkle in Time. Ava DuVernay is the first black female to get a $100 million budget film. So guys, stay tuned for more amazing moments.
Believed in her since I first saw Middle of Nowhere and then came on board for Selma, and for her to be able to take the helm of this, you know, $120, $30 million movie, I don't even know what it ended up being, is big. It's a moment. It's not just, you know, I said at the Golden Globes, the new day is on the horizon. This is it. This is the horizon. And so, first and foremost, I joined this whole thing, this cast of Wrinkle in Time movement because of support, friendship, and wanting to lift her as high as I could. And then I realized, hey, it's a really great film and book, and these words are going to last forever, and this is so interesting. I was doing an interview the other day and somebody said, oh, my kid said, you're going to interview Oprah, who's that? And her child was 7. And I said, yes, I knew that when I was doing this movie, that there are going to be kids who see this movie who say, you're Mrs. Witch. And then I'm going to say, yes, and I had a talk show too. Thank you.
How you doing?
Hi. How are you doing?
Good. When it comes to the opportunities that you're obviously providing a lot of people, would you ever fund something in Africa, say for the young girls there, when it comes to movie making or anything?
Are you kidding? You know how much money I spend in Africa?
No, I know.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Yeah, would I do that? Yeah, I think I am continually looking for opportunities that offer a hand up and allow people to have the fullest expression of themselves in a way that can be sustainable. Because just giving people money to do things does not solve anything. I have learned that the hard way. Yes.
What a joy to be able to let my imagination run free with the full force of Disney behind me. If I say I wanted another crane, there's like, here Ava, here's another crane. Said I want some more ruffles on that dress. Here Ava, more ruffles. Do you want more ruffles than that? It was wonderful to be able to play with all these resources and let my imagination run free. So
there are people who came because you're here. Ryan Coogler is so happy for you. Kobe Bryant's here. Oprah can't sing your praises enough. It is so lovely to hear all of this, but I don't know when it becomes real to you unless that you're watching my story and hearing it. I mean,
I would like to see your story. Yeah. I don't know. They're just good people that I try to be good to, and they're good back to me, and I think that's just the cycle of it. If you're good to people, then they give you good energy back, and that's how my mom and dad taught me, and that's all I do.
One thing that really stands out in this film to me is the hair. It's also mentioned throughout the film. So how important is it to you to be able to represent that natural hair movement and also showcase just who we are in a natural essence?
Well, it really gets into the beauty of this girl who doesn't think she's beautiful. And we know that for African American girls and for girls of color, there's a lot tied up into the way that they're looked against what society says they should look like. So we really address that in this. It's addressed a little bit in the book that was written in 1963, and we just kind of supersize it and really kind of contemporize it. And I think there's a little something for everyone in there, no matter who you are. There are messages for young boys, messages for adults who have lost the kid inside of them. This is a happy movie. In dark times, it's for kids. And also, if you still have a little kid in you, it's for you too.
So before you leave, you want the kid in heart, or the kid in heart to see this. Did you have the kid in heart with you the entire time you were making it?
I found my inner Ava, my little Ava, while I was making this movie. Before I had made 13th and Selma, darker subject matter. It was really Wrinkle in Time that let me find the light again and brought some joy back to me inside. So I'm grateful to this movie and to the experience.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was so exciting when I got the call that Ava wanted to consider me for one of the parts, and I told my agent, yes, I want to do this, because she's just so thoughtful in her filmmaking. And it's not just what's on the screen, which is full of depth and heart and soul, but behind the scenes, that she makes sure, first of all, that the crew is incredibly inclusive. I mean, every person of color is represented, every woman, every disability, every LGBTQ, and it's really important. It changed the way I thought about making films, because it's not just the art you make, but it's also how you make the art.
Well, first off, it's a book that is special to a lot of people, and we're hoping that we've done the book some justice, but it is a movie, and it's a very special movie in its own right. But I am just kind of excited to be a part of such a big visual movie that has a bit of a message.
One thing I have to ask, because everybody in America wants to know, are you going to...
You are the first person to ever ask that question.
I am honored.
Can you tell how many times I've been asked a lot of questions?
This is our Father. Can you help us find him, please? Please.
I can't tell what they're saying.
I can. They speak color. Oh, he did? Oh, really? Oh, don't say.
Yep, he was here. They saw him Tesser here. But he continued to explore, they say. Somewhere in that direction. Let's go!
The impossible.
I figured it was fitting. I figured it was fitting.
We do. We live in the dream, honey. Mike, we are living the dream.
Yeah, it's Mike Melindy rolling out, living the dream here across from the missus.
Yes.
You know, when it comes to, what this film represents, we don't see a lot of times where there's a female-centric role. There's a sense of responsibility to portray characters that can help to move the needle in Hollywood a little bit.
Having this young brown girl be the center of her own narrative, and having brown girls around the world experience the reflection of that for themselves. I mean, there's just nothing like that. You can't even, ticket sales, box office, all that, wonderful, we're so happy about that. But how do you really change culture? You change culture through the storytelling, and there's no better, bigger way to do it than through a film up on the big screen. And so I just know that it's going to have impact beyond what we can imagine or even describe. Because I grew up in an era where there was nobody who looked like me. So I was like looking for white girls who were just brunettes, I was just looking for a brunette white girl in a magazine with a round nose. I'd take that, Right. So to have these images that look like you is a really empowering thing, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. So for sure. I'm proud for this moment for all of us. Ava, our movie, the culture, the girls who will receive it, the boys. It's an amazing thing that's happening.
Absolutely. You mentioned story, and one thing I have to ask, because everybody in America wants to know, are you going to be directing soon, and are you going to step...
Everybody wants to know that. It's the first time I've heard that question. Really?
So, do you feel like you're going to make the shift ever from in front of the camera to actually telling your own story?
You're the first person Mike ever asked me that question, so no, wow. I hadn't thought of that ever, actually. No, I hadn't thought of it.
Okay.
You are the first person to ever ask that question.
I am honored.
Can you tell how many times I've been asked a lot of questions? But no, I hadn't. No, it doesn't feel like me. But I won't say that it's not in my DNA. I would say that could be a possibility.
For sure. I would love to sit and chat with you guys for the rest of the day.
We would have loved to dare to dream the impossible with you.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Look forward to more of your work.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good job.
Truly a privilege to be sitting across from the both of you, so thank you for taking the time to sit with us. One thing I loved about this film is that it provides the platform to just keep producing these female-centric movies.
I won't say that it's not in my DNA.
Essentially,
I would say that
you're really taking the helm of this. So how important is it for you I would love to sit and chat with you guys, take charge.
You would have loved to dare to dream the impossible with
I mean,
you.
this film.
Thank you so much for your time. Look forward to more of your work.
Thank you.
And a fantasy realm that I loved when I was growing up.
Yes.
Never-Ending Story, Escape to Witch Mountain. I would love these movies. The kids in Escape to Witch Mountain, they were telepathic. They were twins, two little blonde twins, and they could talk in their head.
Mm-hmm.
In you got to see this movie. In a Never-Ending Story, the boy like flies on a dog. But
The huge dog.
But we weren't there, you know?
Right.
There were no kids of color in it. So I can look at that and say, wow, that looks cool. But we weren't there. And we certainly, whether it's Lord of the Rings or Avatar or anything else in the fantasy realm, we're never the hero, the center of the story.
Right.
And if we are, it's a man. And this is a little girl
Absolutely.
with a plaid shirt and curly hair. And so I loved that. I loved that an actress like Storm Reed could be put in places where we've been absent for so long, you know, where women of color could be there and be the leader, like her crew of boys. She's the leader. Before they go anywhere, they look to her and like, can we go? And she says yes or no. So it was great.
I love it. I love it. You know, obviously, you know, you're walking on the shoulders of a lot of the actresses and actors who came before you. I had a chance to interview Cicely Tyson one time, who talked about that she always didn't have the luxury to just pick any old role she wanted because she needs to represent African American women in a positive light. So when it comes to you having this sense of responsibility, do you look at, you know, certain future roles that you might play with a sense of responsibility to portray yourself in the way that, you know, you'd want all African American women to see?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like it is a responsibility to continue to keep on representing strong young women that are making a change and that do have a story and that are, in a sense, real, even though they are a character. They are real and they are going through things as a young black girl. So I feel like I do have that responsibility, and to be able to be given those opportunities is amazing. And being a part of this film is one of my biggest opportunities, so it's good.
Definitely. Well, there's many more to come.
Thank you.
So, you know, it's really about a story about belonging and fitting in and feeling accepted and actually overcoming a lot of the self-doubt that we have sometimes in order to make it to where we need to go. So you yourself, you know, you came from the world of PR and you were once a publicist. Was there ever a moment, or how would you describe that moment, when you knew that you no longer belonged in that world? And how did you kind of go about just, you know, overcoming maybe the doubts that you may have had when it came to stepping into the directorial world?
Well, thanks for the question. I mean, my story is not just about kind of race and gender, about being a black woman. It's also about age, because I didn't pick up the camera until I was 32. You know, one of my dear friends, Ryan Coogler, we edited our films right across the hall from each other at Disney. I'm so overwhelmingly happy for Black Panther, and for him, I can't tell you the joy that I feel. But one of the things, I look at him and I think, gosh, you're so young, you know what I mean? You got started early, and so I got started much later and had a career before I switched. And so I'm really just trying to make as much as I can for as long as I can, as long as they let me make it. And so this film meant something to me. It was about the girl with glasses, you know, who wanted to fly. And so to be able to give that to other girls, to other kids of all kinds, is the reason why I switched careers. When I think about pushing yourself and taking risks, this film is a push. It's a risk. It's a kids' fantasy movie, much different from 13. You know what I mean? And much different from Selma. But we have to get out of the boxes that they put us in and push boundaries, and that's what Wrinkle in Time is.
Absolutely. We'll keep pushing, and we look forward to more of your work in the future. Thank you again. Appreciate it.